Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Jen, and today I'm going to give you a bit of a history on Canadian media. I love watching long videos on YouTube, especially the ones that dive into shows and they watch the entirety of the show. A couple of my favorites are Billiam's Lost series, Q Reviews, I think is the channel name. They did like iCarly and Victorious and a bunch of the Nickelodeon universe shows, and I've seen a bunch of Disney Channel shows, and I've watched Mike's Mike with the Pretty Little Liars. There's not a lot on Canadian media. There's not a lot of history on Canadian media in general. So I've decided that I'm going to make it, because they say if you can't find it, then make it. Because maybe somebody else wants to learn about it too. Hello, I'm currently editing the video that you are watching, and I realized I forgot to mention that I do know about the children's television exhibit that's going on at the Canadian History Museum in Ottawa, I think it is. It's an exhibit where you can go and see characters from shows that we grew up with, like The Elephant Show and Polka Dot Door. And I will probably dive into this in a future video, but that's not what this video is about. So, back to the video. And while I've been diving into it, I've been getting really fascinated with it, because there's very limited options in Canada. For TV, your options are either Bell or Rogers for the most part. There's a few others, like I think TELUS maybe has some television on the West Coast. I know on the East Coast there's smaller companies like Eastlink. They're pretty much all owned by the same companies. So there is a huge monopoly on media in Canada, which is interesting considering the fact that we have laws that actually promote Canadian media. Today, I'm going to be diving into Family Channel. Family Channel could be considered Canadians' Disney Channel, except for one thing. I was able to watch Zoe 101 on the same channel as Liz McGuire and Hannah Montana. I know what you're thinking. One of those is not like the other. So while you could consider Family Channel to be the Canadian Disney Channel, it wasn't. Family was known to host live action and animation shows from other channels such as Nickelodeon, Discovery Kids, Warner Brothers, and as well, it also created some of its own original content. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The year is 1988, and the date is September 1st. The Family Channel was originally created as a joint venture between Super Channel and First Choice. I am not really familiar with either of these channels. From my understanding, they were mostly based in the West Coast, or either that or they weren't in Newfoundland, where I'm originally from. But by 2000, the Family Channel would have been acquired by Astro Media and Chorus Entertainment, two media ventures that should sound very familiar to other Canadians. Unfortunately, due to CRTC guidelines, Chorus Media had to give up its half of ownership because they were concerned about the monopoly it had on children's specialty channels, because it was also the owner of YTV, Teletoon, and Treehouse TV. It was also around this time that they dropped the in the Family Channel and just called it Family. Family began as a premium specialty channel that you had to pay for to have it included in your service. This was kind of frustrating to me as a kid because I did have family, such as my grandparents, who didn't have this channel included in their package, so I wouldn't actually be able to watch Family Channel when I was visiting family. At the time, due to CRTC guidelines, because it was a premium specialty channel for kids, it had to operate as commercial free, so none of the shows included the intended commercial breaks. They played nonstop. That's how I figured out shows were actually 20 minutes long and not 30 minutes long, and then 45 minutes long versus a whole hour. The extra 10 minutes in between shows, when they weren't playing shows back to back to back, was used for promotional bumpers for other shows, movie trailers, behind the scenes snippets for movies, movie surfers, which was a Disney thing that was also used in between shows, promoting movies that were playing on the channel, shows that were coming up, promotional contests, and even sometimes music videos. The music videos were a lot of the time for artists under the Hollywood Records label, which is Disney's record label, but it would also include other kid-friendly artists, which is probably where most of you would have heard Operator by Shiloh, who is most famously known now as being one of the people who suffered under the hands of the Onion creator, if you know who I mean. If you want more information about that, you can just go up into the search bar and search it. There's already lots of videos on that. So the logo for Family, or the Family Channel, changed a few times. This is what it started with. As you can see, it shows it's the Family Channel. This would have been the logo I'm least familiar with, probably. I do have some memory of it from the 90s. When the channel was acquired in 2000, they dropped channel and just called it Family. And they also updated the logo to what I'm most familiar with and what I'm sure most people watching this are probably familiar with. The logo had its last major change in 2011 when they created and launched the HD feed. And they updated it to this to give it a more 3D feel. Now the logo has changed color wise to fit different themes or programming packages that they were doing. Usually over the holidays it would change to incorporate the holiday season somehow. I believe one year it was a snow globe, and another year they may have had a snowflake. In 2014, Family and its 3 sister channels, Disney Junior, English and French, as well as Disney XD, would all get acquired by DHX Media, who would later change their name to WildBrain. About a year or two later, Family would lose the Canadian Disney rights that it held for almost 20 years, and they would no longer be able to show any Disney content, losing a lot of its shows, because Family didn't just show Disney Channel shows. It had the Disney Junior channels, it had Disney XD, it would show Disney movies, Disney Channel movies, all that good stuff. Since Family Channel could no longer use the Disney branding or content, they would have to rebrand and change the names of their sister channels. So Disney Junior English became Family Junior, Disney Junior French became Telemagino, which I've probably butchered because I haven't done French in quite a long time. Disney XD would become Family Charged. Now you can still watch Disney Channel in Canada. Chorus Entertainment, the very company that the CRTC were trying to keep from having a monopoly on children's specialty channels, was the company that got all the Disney Canadian rights. So they launched a Disney Channel in Canada and Disney Junior, and so we still have that here now. Now I know what you're thinking. if family can't play any Disney Channel content, what are they going to use to fill that time?
Family Channel
actually has a lot of original content that it's created, usually with other companies such as Disney or Nickelodeon or somewhere in the UK. I'm actually going to list them because there are some that have been attributed to Disney from what I've seen on TikTok. I'm not going to do it slowly. I'm going to speed it up and put it visually on the screen so you can like pause and stuff. But yes. Here we go. This is the original content. This is all the content that it has put money in to produce and they can kind of claim as their own.
African Skies, Anna Banana, A Dubin's Animal Adventure, Bajillionaires, Baxter, BB and Jennifer, The Big Garage, Bob's, Connor Undercover, Deborah, Fabulous Day, Gaming Show, In My Parents' Garage, Hello Mrs. Cherrywinkle, In a Heartbeat, Kingdom Adventure, The Latest Buzz, Lost and Found Music Studios, Massive Monster Mayhem, Mentors, Music Quest, Naturally Sadie, Now Lisa Sandman, OMG, Overruled, Playdate, Radio Free Roscoe, Raising Expectations, Really Me, Something Else, Take Off, Try It, UMIGO, We Are Savvy, What's Up Warthogs, Winging It, The Busy World of Richard Scary, Chip and Potato, The Deep, Fangbone, Franklin, Franny's Feet, Henry's World, Hose Hounds, Just in Time, Katie and Orby, King, Cleo and the Misfit Unicorn, The Legend of White Fang, Little Lulu Show, The Magical Adventures of Quasimodo, Mighty Mike, The Never Ending Story, Papa Beaver Storytime, Polly Pocket, Rev and Roll, Ripley's Believe It or Not, The Secret World of Benjamin Bear, Slugterra, Stella and Sam.
You can still see some of these shows on Family, whether it's new episodes or reruns. Obviously, certain shows with Disney copyright, I don't know if they'd actually be able to show, like the Quasimodo show. While they did have a lot of original programming, they also had a very extensive list of Disney shows that they would show. So this is just kind of to give you an idea of how much they actually lost from Chorus.
Eight Simple Rules, Ant Farm, Aaron Stone, Adventures in Wonderland, Austin and Alley, Bill, Now the Science Guy, Bear in the Big Blue House, Blossom, The Book of Pooh, Boy Meets the World, The Brendan Leonard Show, Brotherly Love, Bug Juice, Bunnytown, Corey in the House, Crash and Berenstein, Dinosaurs, Dog with a Blog, Dumbo Circus, Even Stevens, Flash Forward, Girl Meets World, Going Wild with Jeff Corwin, Good Luck Charlie, Hannah Montana, Honey I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show, I Didn't Do It, I'm in the Band, Imagination Movers, The Jersey, Johnny and the Sprites, Jonas, Casey Undercover, Kicked Out, Life with Bonnie, Liv and Maddie, Liz McGuire, Mad Lib, Malcolm in the Middle, Milky Mouse Club, Size, Muppets, My So-Called Life, Umba Mukumba, Out of the Box, Pair of Kings, Phil of the Future, Popular, Power Rangers, Shake It Up, The Sinbad Show, Sing Me a Story with Belle, Smart Guy, So Random, So Weird, Sunny with a Chance, Speechless, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Sweet Life on Deck, Teen Angel, Teen Win, Lose or Draw, That's a Raven, The Perkelsons, Welcome to Corner, Wizards of Waverly Place, You and Me Kid, You Wish, Your Big Break, Z Games, Zeke and Luther, Zorro, 101 Dalmatians, a series, Adventures of the Gummy Bears, Aladdin, American Dragon, Jake Long, Bonkers, Brandy Miss Whiskers, Buzz Lightyear and Starkman, The Bug, On Maggie, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Dig Under, Darwin Duck, Dave the Barbarian, Digimon Data Squad, Donald Duck Presents, Donald Quack Attack, Doug, DuckTales, The Emperor's New School, Fillmore, Fishhooks, Gargoyles, Good Morning Mickey, Goof Troop, Gravity Falls, Handy Manny's, Hercules, Higglytown Heroes, House of Mouse, Jake and the Neverland Pirates, Jason and the Heroes of Mount Olympus, JoJo's Circus, Jungle Junction, Kick Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil, Kim Possible, The Legend of Tarzan, Lilo and Stitch the Series, Little Einsteins, Little Mermaid, Lloyd in Space, Marsupilami, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Mickey Mouse Tracks, Mickey Mouse Works, Mighty Ducks, Mongol Knights, The Mouse Factory, Masterpiece Theater, My Friends Tigger and Pooh, Oban Star Racers, PB&J Otter, Pepper Ann, Phineas and Ferb, The Proud Family, Puka, Raw Tonage, Recess, The Replacements, The Schnookums and Neat Funny Cartoon Show, Special Agent Oso, Spider-Man, Stanley, Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go, Tailspin, Teacher's Pet, Team Supremo, Timon and Pumbaa, Wonder Over Yonder, The Weekenders, Witch, WITCH, The Wuzzles, Yin Yang Yo. Now the thing to remember is not all of this programming was on Family Channel at the same time. There's obviously quite a few Mickey Mouse related shows in there that were obviously from the 80s, like Mousercise. And the reason Family had this wide variety of shows and wanted even more shows than just Disney content was because they were creating a channel where the whole family could sit down at any point and find and have something to watch and enjoy themselves. Mornings were for preschool aged or younger. It was originally called Family Playhouse Fun. In 2009, they changed it to Family Junior. In 2011, when Playhouse Disney was doing a rebrand and calling everything Disney Junior, they took on that name as well. But of course, as we all know, in 2015 and 2016, they had to rebrand back to Family Junior due to the loss of the copyright. This is where you would find shows like Little Einsteins, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Book of Pooh. These would start usually around 6 in the morning and go up until I think 11:30. I remember watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse on my lunch breaks in high school because there was literally nothing else on TV at that time. So I would just watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and you get into it. So I think it would be broken up. Like they would mix Playhouse Disney shows with
some shows that were a bit older, and you'll understand more as I go on. The afternoons were called Mash Dash. This was a programming block for people are now working on the building next door, so I apologize for the sounds of saws. The afternoons were called Mad Dash. This programming block was created in 2002 as a way to get school-aged children to watch the channel and stay on the channel. This ran from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and would be 7 non-stop shows. You would maybe get one little bumper showing what's coming up, and that was it. It immediately went into the next episode of that it was showing, whether it was the same show, which it would sometimes do, or it was just a different show. When it originally started, this is where you would find like the Amanda Show and all that. Later, as it went on, it became more cartoons, so you're talking Recess, The Weekenders, Fillmore, shows like that. Weekday evenings were called Nonstop or Family Nights. I remember them as Nonstop, but a few places online were also calling them Family Nights, so I could be remembering them wrong. This is where you're going to find most of your live action sitcoms. So Liz McGuire, That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, Liv and Maddie. They also had a weekend programming block called Nonstop Weekends, which was very similar. It was just usually earlier in the day, I'm pretty sure. Some other programming blocks to note are Power Box, which was an early morning programming block. This was mostly Japanese themed. This ended in 2006 and was replaced by Jetix. Jetix was a programming block originally by ABC Family and Toon Disney, so this was something brought up from the States. This block ended in 2009. Some people say that it was replaced by Disney XD, but from my understanding, Disney XD was moved to late night in the evenings versus in the mornings, but I could be wrong. I didn't watch a lot of Disney XD because I didn't like those at the time. This came out when I was in high school, so it makes sense. Disney XD, as mentioned earlier, originally became a sister channel, which eventually changed to be called Family Charged, which I believe was also the programming block name at one point. This is where you're going to find shows like Lab Rats, Phineas and Ferb, and Gravity Falls. But of course, since it lost the Disney rights, it's no longer showing any Disney shows. So I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what it's showing right now. If enough people are interested, I can look into this further and do a part 2. Surprise Stack Attack originally aired from October 2011 to May 2012, so not even a year's worth, and it would air from Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. This is not a programming block I am familiar with, and I would probably be annoyed by it because it would air stacks of random, original, and acquired programs, but you wouldn't know what was coming up. The listings on the guide simply said to be announced, and any programming bumpers would just say Super Stack Attack. So if you were watching during that time, you had no idea what you were watching. Movies had their own programming block. There was, during the weeknights, usually around 9 p.m., would be nightly picks. They don't always show movies at night. They will sometimes show reruns. They used to show older shows like Boy Meets World, but obviously they can't do that anymore. So now they show Life with Derek or what's been playing already during the day. Because who knows? People who can't watch during the day might want to watch at night. So weeknights, usually around 9 p.m., would be nightly picks. They didn't always show movies at night, but when they did, it would be called Nightly Picks. On the weekend, it was called Popcorn Picks. Nightly Picks was discontinued in 2011, and now they just call everything Popcorn Picks. Currently, the nightly lineup features reruns of shows like Life with Derek, different versions of Degrassi, or replaying episodes that aired earlier in the day while showing some movies now and then. It does also appear that they might show some creepier shows at night. I believe I saw Goosebumps on there, and maybe like a horror cooking show or something. I can't quite remember. While having all the Disney Channel content, they needed to ensure that they had enough variety of programming to ensure that kids wouldn't change over to other channels like YTV, Treehouse, or Teletoon. From Nickelodeon, we got Adventures of Pete and Pete, All That, The Amanda Show, Clarissa Explains It All, Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, Zoe 101, and O'Grady. A few other shows of note that Family has aired over the years from other channels are Elf, Andromeda, Art Attack, Darcy's Wildlife, Elmo's World, The Famous Jet Jackson, Flight 29 Down, H2O, Just Add Water, Mighty Machines, So Little Time, Harry and His Bucket of Dinosaurs, Madeline, Thomas and Friends, The Wind and Willow, plus so many others. While Family is still going, I can only presume it's still popular with kids today, but I can't say for sure if it holds a candle to its peak in the early 2000s. So we're left to the question, did losing the Disney Channel content and branding rights in Canada tarnish Family's popularity, or was it destined to happen? When you compare Disney Channel today to what it was in the early 2000s with shows like Liz McGuire, Even Stevens, Kim Possible, That's a Raven, Hannah Montana, I could keep naming shows that are still kind of popular with people today. It's definitely taken a downward turn in popularity. You can see it in the fact that people aren't talking about the shows. They talk about some of the movies. Descendants is fairly popular. The Zombies movie is fairly popular, and I know that specifically because my little cousins really enjoy those movies. So that's how I know. Now that Disney Plus is a thing, do we really need a channel on cable or satellite dedicated to Disney content? Pretty much any show that I would have watched on Family Channel is now available on Disney Plus for me to watch there whenever I want. Growing up with children's media, Family Channel was my channel. It's what I constantly had on television, and I would rarely switch over to YTV or Teletoon. I did because there were definitely shows on both of those channels that I enjoyed, and I will talk about those when I do dive into those channels, because I will be. When you think about it today, there is no way it would have been able to compete with the internet. So I think whether Family lost the rights to Disney content or not, I don't think it would have continued to have the popularity that it had in the early 2000s. Simply because the internet is the thing and the shows just aren't as good. But that's it. That's all I have for this video on the history of Family Channel. Did you watch Family Channel growing up? What shows did you watch? Or were you more of a YTV kid? Sound off in the comments below and let me know which channel I should do next. YTV, Teletoon, or Treehouse. I'll see you next time. Bye.